what's going on, everybody? Sadistic Picker here, and we are finally back. Yes, that's right, we are back. And we are back with what we promised. The Elite 40-piece Christina Palmer multi-pick set. And man, let me tell you, I'm a fan. I've only got 2 complaints, and we're going to get that right out of the way right now. First complaint, the price. Oh my God, are these expensive? That's being the main reason, the only reason it's been so long for me to get a hold of some, because I just couldn't afford them. Thankfully, out of the kindness of Multi-Pick's heart, they gifted me this set to do a review, to pick, to use, to show everybody just how fantastic these really are, their picks are. And I have got to agree, they are by far the best picks I have ever used. Well, I don't know if I should say that. Well, yeah, I am going to say that. Saying that, though, I am a huge fan of Law Lock, too. Because of their handles. Law Locks are a phenomenal pick. But that's not what we're here for today. Today we are here for multi-pick and the Christina Palmer set. So let's go over this, shall we? This is what it comes with: 12 picks in 0.6, which is equivalent to 23 thou if you're US or, abroad, or you don't use the metric system, millimeter. Now, 0.4 would be about 15 thou, and don't be intimidated to use the 0.4s, the 15 thou, and this is why. The steel, they use spring steel for their steel, not stainless, and it doesn't flex like stainless does. Stainless flex and tends to bend. These don't. These kind of spring, if they bend at all. And I haven't found, they're solid, is what I would call solid. It felt like their 15 thou or their 0.4 felt like I was picking with, say, a Southard in 18 or Jimmy Long's in 18. I got the same feel. And that's about the best way I could describe it. So don't be intimidated to use a 15 thou. I just found it absolutely amazing to use. She did a solid pick here. I think I agreed with all the picks but one. And that one pick is this: the Swoop, the Reach, the Spoon, whatever you want to call it. Not a big fan. Now, if you watch Lock Noob's review on this, he said Christina Palmer reached out to him, and the reason why she threw it in, because it's a fan favorite for beginners. It's kind of the equivalent to a short hook, picks just like a short hook. I found that, yeah, it's got the reach of a short hook, but it does not pick like a short hook. I found that in wide open keyways, it's a great to use. But if you're manipulating keyways warding, not so great to use because of the long swoop. It's really hard to manipulate in certain warded keyways. So to me, especially when you have 2 different types of short hooks here, you got a flat tip and a pointy tip short hook, why throw this in? I think this was thrown in mainly as an eye catcher, to get people to go, ooh, that's pretty, let's give it a try. Yeah, to me, not such a big fan. But, that's just my opinion. Everybody else is going to have a different opinion. So I would have liked to have seen maybe a key extractor, or maybe even the worm, although I can see why they didn't put the worm in it, or she didn't put the worm in instead of this, because of this little gem right here. This little small double peak works just like a worm. I was tickled to death when I seen these double peaks. I'm a huge fan of a double peak rake, And this double peak rake, the smaller one, works just as good as any worm that I've ever used. So I could see why that wasn't in place of that. But I would like to have seen something else other than the Swoop. Like I said, we've already got 2 short hooks. What's the purpose of the Swoop? I didn't see none. Okay, so let's move on. We got the 2 short hooks, which I've already gone over. Flat tip and pointy tip. Then you have a mid hook and you have the deep hook. I really like this deep hook. It's got great angle to it. It's super fantastic for that pin that hides behind, say, number 5 no lift, but you got a number 6 max lift. This baby is gonna pop it right open. It's gonna get right in there and pop it open. Now, the differences between their 0.4 and 0.6 that I found was the shafts. And here, let's use the probe. The probe is probably the best one to show the differences here in the shafts. So the top would be 0.4, the bottom would be 0.6, and you notice the height of the shaft is a little bit taller. That's to give it more strength. Now, as you can see, it's still nice and flexible, so you're still going to be able to navigate, but man, does it give it more strength for up and down. I found their 0.4s just fantastic. The best 15th thou picks I've ever picked with, by far. I'm a fan. I am a fan of spring steel. The finish on these picks, oh my goodness, and this would probably be the best one to show the finish on. The finish is just like a smooth key right out of the package. You ain't got to take no 1,000, no 12,000, no 1,500 grit to get that nice, smooth. Oh man, it really is smooth. No sharp at all. But just a beautiful set of picks. You got a quad, you got a quint, you got the double peaks. Let's see. It also comes with, I think, one of the best hybrid profiles would be this half diamond. I'm a huge fan of the half diamond. It also acts as a short hook or for raking or zipping. This is such a versatile pick. It works great. I'm a huge fan of the half diamond. Also, threw in the offset hybrid. This, I think, is also another fantastic pick. It acts kind of like the medium hook, in my opinion. It works really great unless you have like devastating warding, like say, let me see here, like say this. It's not going to work so well in this Eva keyway because of its height and where it's got its bend at. It's not going to work so hot. But that doesn't mean it ain't going to crack anything else open. And like I said, if you got, like, say, for the American lock or master lock or anything like that that's got a nice wide open keyway, this is a beast to pick with. Absolutely love to use it. Let's see, what else can we cover here? We got the height of the shafts. We went over the medium. Oh, this. Why did they throw this probe in there? If you guys don't know what a probe is good for, well, let's do this. Your probe is good for your commercial lock. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. You're just gonna absolutely love it. Another good thing probes are good for is the sidebar. You can get this under the sidebar, and sometimes you can just wiggle and jiggle that sucker open. Well, just probing your locks. Probes are good. Counting pins, how far your pins are apart, how big the pins are. I use the probe for all kinds of things, so that was cool to see in this set. You got 12 different picks, 2 different sizes, so you got a bundle of 24 different picks. Then they went a step further, and by a step further, I mean step further. Tensioners. Let's move on to the tensioners. Absolutely the best selection of tensioners I've ever come across out of any set. And I am a huge fan of multi-pix tensioners. Just, I don't think you can have enough. Each one of them are individually labeled. So you got 0.8 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 1.3 millimeter. Then, like I said, they come in different styles. You got this style, which works great as like kind of like the Z-bar, except for, well, it isn't a Z-bar, it's only half. But this works great for top of the keyway. You can use this for top of the keyway. It also works great for, and I use it a lot this way, for bottom of the key. Well, I need the thicker one. For bottom of the keyway, which will give you more room to rake with, say, than using your standard tensioner, which will eat up all that room. Not that every lock you need it, but when you do need more room, fantastic choice, fantastic choice. Another thing that I really enjoyed about their tensioners was this bend in the handle. This bend. I don't know if you guys pick over a hardwood floor or a bench or a table and had say like your TOK hit. Nothing is worse than trying to pick a tensioner up off of a flat surface when they're flat. They are just a nightmare. These come with a bend, so all you have to do is hit the one end and you can pick it up like so. So that was super thoughtful of them to do that. Not to mention, but also when you have it in the keyway, the bend, it works. It works well. I really am a fan of the bend and the tensioners. I'm, like I said, huge fan of their tensioners. They give you an awesome selection. Not only does this top of the keyway work for top of the keyway, and you might be wondering, why did they make it so tall? Well, for a couple reasons. This top of the keyway also works as a bottom of the keyway as well. So you ain't got to reach for another one. But most importantly, and I do mean most importantly, for these locks that are like this, that got deep, deep recessed keyways that you can't get to, the only way you can get to is with a top of the keyway tensioner like so. Look at that. Like a gem. Fan of that. Fan of that. Okay, the one tensioner, the creme de la resistance. Look at this. This is designed by Christina Palmer herself. It slips from a 0.8 to a 1.4 millimeter, and this is a beauty of a gem. Look at that baby. And you might be wondering, what are we going to use this for? Again, your recessed keyways. Baby just pops right in there until it stops, and then off to town you go. I absolutely love that. At first I was dumbfounded. What's up with that? And why is it sloped like that? Well, because some keys you might only go this far, other keyways you might go all the way to the top, and it's got that sweet bend, so it stays out of the way of the lock, so it doesn't obstruct on anything. Like I said, you are going to be pleased with this BOK, bottom of the keyway tensioner for recessed locks. Okay, so you get a total of 24 picks, and then you get a total of 16 different tensioners. Every one of them, you can't have too many different style of tensioners. Oh, this, one more thing before we finish up here. This tensioner, at first I thought, no, that's kind of stupid. No teeth, it's just flat. Why? Well, these work great. These absolutely work great. I was tickled to death. And they don't slip. You might think, oh, well, is it gonna slip out of the way? Ain't got no teeth to grab onto. You don't need teeth. You don't need teeth for grabbing in these locks. Actually, I'm hitting that, or I'm not hitting the right pin. For picking. This is more for picking, not so much for tensioning. We'll use this baby here and see if we can't Let's see. Let's use this baby. You know what? I'm going to use these just because they're simple. We know what we can work with these. I like locks that I know we're just going to masterfully slay open. The the quint. Absolutely huge fan of this quint. Huge fan of the quint. Also huge fan of the quad. And who needs a triple peak when you got a double peak? You got the double peak, you got the quint for 5. And not only do you have the double peak, but the double peak comes in 2 different sizes. I'm a huge fan of this little double peak. Like I said, it works just like the worm. Absolutely amazing. Amazing, and it's more of a precision style rake and pick. I found I like to pick with these too just as much as I like to rake with them. I don't use a lot of force on them because of course it's a rake. They're longer and you tend to break them when you use them as picks. But I have done kind of like precision bitting. I couldn't run across the lock that had it, but say you got really deep set 4 and 5 and 6, but your front 3 aren't deep set. They're kind of no lifts. That's where this little baby comes in handy. You can get the back ones without obstructing the front ones, and then you can move to the front once you set your back pins. That's why I am such a huge fan of the double peak. So what else can we cover on this? Oh, the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful case. This leather case, let me tell you, quality. They did quality all the way around on this. I think their steel is fantastic. Their spring steel. And did I mention that it is a 30-year warranty or a lifetime warranty on these babies? If you're using them the correct way and something happens, call them up. I'm willing to bet that it's covered and you just send it to them and they send you out a new one. The price point is a little spendy, but it's one of them things. You get what you pay for, and so you're gonna pay more money, but you're gonna get an absolute fantastic set of picks. The only drawbacks I seen to this was the price. The steel is fantastic. Once you get used to the smaller handles, if you're kind of bigger handed like I am, you'll get used to them. I'm telling you, you'll get used to them, and they're just a dream to use. I thought that I had picked with some of the best picks, okay, until I got a hold of this set, and I didn't think I was going to be as thrilled or as happy with this pick set as I am and was when I got it. Absolutely fantastic. It blew my mind. If I had the money and if I had to do it all over again, this is what I would buy every time. Multi-pick. They're absolutely that changing. I think it enhances your picking. You know, better tools makes your picking experience and your outcomes better. Absolutely believe in that. These picks have made me a little bit better at picking. Now, is that going to turn, say, a beginner into an advanced picker? Absolutely not. But is it going to get them there quicker? Oh, I think so. I really think so. Because, well, it's just like anything that you work with. The better tools you got, the quicker and better job that you do. not to mention, I think these tools are going to hold up. I've got hundreds of hours into picking with these tools. I've used them for a little over a month now, exclusively, almost exclusively. A few times I pulled out my Jimmy Longs just when I really want to get really bullish on a lock and don't want to worry about bending and breaking something. I use them. But saying that, once I do get a hold of 3 more hooks, we're going to bully the hell out of these, because I do want to see their limits. I do want to see the limits of some severe, sadistic, heavy-handed picking. Not that I haven't used these heavy-handed, because I have the 23, even 23 thou, the 0.6. I've used heavy-handed, but there were a few times where I did get nervous and went, okay, you know, I still got to do a review with these, so let's not bend them out of hand. But I didn't bend not one of them, and there was a few times I thought for sure it was going to come out bent, and nope, they are straight as the day I started picking. As the day I started picking with it. Absolutely fantastic. Christina Palmer, fantastic set. Like I said, the only drawback is this. Why did you put this in here? That's one question that I would love answered. What made you throw this in here? You've already got 2 short hooks. You've already got this that acts as also as a short hook. So what was the point of this other than catching people's eye for sales? I'd like that. This is supposed to be an advanced elite set. You don't need a beginner style pick for an advanced elite set. So that is the main complaint I have with it. Everything else, spot on. Absolutely lovely case. Absolutely lovely tensioners. And amazing picks. You guys are gonna love this. Take my word for it. This is one set that I would recommend to everybody. Beginner, advanced, I would recommend it to everybody. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure to hit up Multi-Pick. Have a look at their selections. There's all kinds of sets, all kinds of stuff to dream and drool over. When that price does hit you and get you thinking about it, it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. Get them. You won't change your mind, I'm telling you, especially when the tools are warranted. If you're using them as is and it snaps, they're going to replace it. I'm telling you, they're going to replace it, people. They should work with you. So there is that. All right, everybody. If you like this review, make sure you hit that like. If you got any questions, comments, hit me up, and I will do my best to answer. And if I can't, I will get a hold of Multi-Pick to see if we can't get an answer out of them. Make sure you share the video out. Make sure you turn that notification bell all the time if you're new here and you're just now subbing up, because I know you're going to. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to sub up this channel? We do some awesome picking here, people. Awesome picking. And with that, happy picking, y'all.